This is just a great piece of writing. I have to present it. Since I don't have permission by the author, I'm not showing her name. Um, what do you do when an avoidant partner cuts you out of their life? When the relationship gets more serious? If there's no contact, will they come back? How long will it take? Distance is an avoidance supply, and there are different avoidance: dismissive avoidance, difficult enough; fearful avoidance, worse. But both dismissive avoidance and fearful avoidance share one big thing: distancing. And distancing is an avoidance supply. It's generally thought that dismissive avoidants have a positive view of themselves and a negative view of others, hence, their general apprehension at getting involved with you. Fearful avoidants, on the other hand, are generally believed to have a negative view of themselves and others. This leads them to trust neither intimacy nor autonomy, which basically means we're fucked. Dismissive avoidance learned early that they could not trust their caretakers to fulfill their emotional needs, and so disconnected themselves from their caretakers. Fearful avoidance learned early that not only could they not trust their caretakers to fulfill their emotional needs, but that emotional needs themselves were dangerous, and so disconnected themselves from their need to have caretakers, which is worse. But back to the supply issue. Both dismissive avoidance and fearful avoidance, which is a mixture of anxious attachment and dismissive avoidant attachment, bolster their feelings of autonomy by distancing themselves from the things that make them feel dependent or dependent upon. Dismissive avoidance just do it all the time, while fearful avoidance do it push pull intermittently, but both do it consciously and unconsciously to maintain autonomy, while fearful avoidance also do it to prevent enmeshment. Enmeshment can be defined as the experience of confusion of one's separateness from others, a diminished sense of self that includes a loss of autonomy in relationships and an inability to fully experience, understand, and value one's own thoughts, feelings, and needs in the context of relationship. Ingrid Bacon and Jeff Conway, Codependency and Enmeshment, a fusion of concepts, which is basically a type of emotional melding where one person feels responsible for maintaining the needs of another. This responsibility usually comes as a result of parentification. Parentification occurs when a child takes on developmentally inappropriate levels of responsibility for their family's emotional, physical, and or mental well-being. This reverse parenting results in them becoming caregivers before they're physically, mentally, or emotionally ready for such responsibility. Embark Behavioral Health Parentification: Signs and Symptoms of a Parentified Child by an overbearing caretaker who has made the child responsible for fulfilling the parent's own egoic needs. And fear of enmeshment can play out in different ways. It can make you feel like you're losing yourself. It can make you feel creeped out. It can make you feel like the other person is entitled to way too much of you, or at least to thinking they are. And that presented with the opportunity to let them feed off of you, or not. You'll let them, which means it's not really their lack of boundaries that scares you. It's yours. your inability to stand up for yourself against a dominating and yet somehow sympathetic other. You feel conflicted about and powerless against. Trauma means having had to submit to someone or something overwhelming, and that feeling of having to submit is a humiliating feeling. It's a feeling of powerlessness. And so you bolster yourself against the feelings of powerlessness and humiliation by proving to yourself that you have to fight it. By proving to yourself that you don't need anyone, which is your supply. So will your avoidant ex come back? Probably. Because avoidants get lonely too. And because what's an addict without its fix? So they'll come back and you'll think they've changed for about 10 minutes. And until they know they've regained the upper hand, and then they'll distance again until you get sick of it and the whole cycle starts. Why won't you love me like I love you? Is that too much to ask for from you? All over again until the avoidant finally, if ever, figures out that this is just like your mom, a creepy game from childhood, washes the ick off and begins the hard work of figuring out who they are and what they really want. Authenticity is the daily practice of letting go of who we think we're supposed to be and embracing who we are. Brene Brown.